You know what we're here for, first and foremost. So let's talk about the finale. WandaVision, Episode 9, series finale. That's right, series finale. It's it. No more seasons. It was a singular story about Wanda and Vision, but the story continues after this. A lot of setting up, for future storytelling, storylines. Um, if they do come back, it'll probably be like maybe it could be a WandaVision, maybe it could be a movie about Wanda, like her own solo movie, with a subtitle and everything. Or if it's a TV series again, it might be titled something different. I mean, there were rumors about Falcon and Winter Soldier coming back after the first season, but with a different title. Or something like that was a while ago, but that like it's different the way Marvel does it. It's not going to be like, I mean, some of the series will have second seasons. Loki has a second season, right, coming, um, and it looks like Falcon and Winter Soldier might as well. But WandaVision was always intended to just be a one and done thing, and to kind of build into some more stuff. There's more. I mean, the story of Wanda apparently gets fleshed out even more in Doctor Strange 2. She's in that film in a big way. And now the question is that the next time we see Agatha Harkness? So let's talk about the things that really stood out most. Did they answer a lot of our questions? Yeah, they did, actually, but they also left a lot of lingering questions, because that's Marvel, right? I'm always amazed at Marvel's ability to build the story of this whole saga very slowly. Like, very slowly, hinting to things subtly. Very subtly, not like right in your face with shit. We expected just like Doctor Strange to pop in, or the Pietro to be the actual Pietro from the X-Men movies, stuff like that. We just but it's all little stuff to hint and build slowly to things, and that is what makes them so great. So, did they answer the Pietro question? Is the first thing I'll talk about, I guess. Yeah, they did, and he was just a fake out. He is not Pietro in any form. He is just another resident of Westview that Agatha took control of and used to fuck with Wanda and to fuck with us as fans. But here is my take on that whole thing. They actually did imply to us what their approach is for the X-Men by doing what they did. By faking us out, it tells us that their approach to the X-Men characters is very original. The reason they did what they did here is because it was a chance to play with a character that they didn't get to play with as much, because they killed the character off in his debut, right? Quicksilver was killed off right away. They haven't it's like kids playing with their favorite toys. Feige and the gang, they wanted to play with Quicksilver a little bit more, and they decided to, let's pull in Pietro from the X-Men, from the Fox films, to imply what we're going to do with our characters. It's implying what their approach is, and it's that they're not going to pull from the Fox films and just bring those characters in like that. That's what them doing this told us. They're not going to pull from the Fox universe and just like give us those characters. But it tells us too that they could play with us a little bit, and not just with the X-Men characters, with Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man characters. Just like throw them in like subtly or quickly or whatever, and use them a little bit, but not in big and effective ways. Not solid, concrete characters with huge arcs and stuff like that. That those kind of that approach to those characters is going to be reserved for the original characters that they create and work with and take and give us from scratch. So like when we get Wolverine, Magneto, Professor X, they will be original. They will be casted anew. It will not be Hugh Jackman or Patrick Stewart, but that does not mean that those actors can't pop in as those characters for fun. And that's what this was. Having a little fun with bringing Pietro from the Fox in. It was just like to play around. And they played with us, definitely played with us, and made us think, right? And made us hope, and then then made us very disappointed. But for fun. It's all in good fun. I don't think it was in bad taste. I think it didn't like totally bum me out, it was funny too, the way that we learn who he really is. His name is Ralph Boner. Your name is Ralph Boner? With that being said, who knows? Monica asks him, "Your name is Ralph Boner," and all he does is kind of just go, "Ralph Boner," and that's it. Like, we don't see him. Like, who knows, man? Maybe he's still, and it could be PX. Who the fuck knows, man? It still wasn't totally. They didn't give us a concrete answer on that. Just like they didn't give us a concrete answer on a lot of other things. For instance, we got 2 post-credit scenes. I know I'm jumping to the end here. But, I mean, that's my whole thing on this episode. It was thrilling because it was every bit an MCU climax that you would want. A face-off hero versus villain, right? Wanda fighting Agatha, and you got Vision fighting White Vision, and the way that whole battle comes to a peak between the Visions was very, very impactful with another great bit of writing from the Marvel writers. I wish I could, I want to write like that. Like, when they pull in a metaphor, and it's like, holy shit, you know? That's another big question, right? This thrilling MCU climax that we get, ends in heartbreak. It was also heartbreaking, and it leaves a lot of questions. But overall, it was a big tease, this episode, for what's coming still. Most of all, though, it was an arc for Wanda in a big way. You know, watching her evolve this season into the powerhouse Scarlet Witch from the comics. That's most of all what this was, right? But also her healing from her grief and her past and everything, and she does. She does officially do that, I think, in this finale. She heals. She lets go of her pain in a lot of ways. And has evolved into something more. And she has to learn how to control this power that she now learned is more powerful than she ever realized. Agatha, yeah, some people are complaining because Agatha just turned out to be one-dimensional, like another one-dimensional Marvel villain, which is something Marvel has been doing better with, and then they go ahead and pull one of these on us again. But I don't know that you can call her so much one-dimensional just because of how much time we spend with her. It's a little different in a TV series. I think just the way that we learn about who she is and what she wants, the way that it was done, the approach to Agatha as a character, made it feel less one-dimensional than those movie villains. It was easier to swallow. There was a one-dimensionality, of course, but it was easier to swallow. I'll say that. And the fact that she can be fleshed out because she's not dead. Like, you know, a lot of the villains, they die. Sometimes they're not really dead, but like they're beaten in a bigger way than Agatha was, right? They're really beaten by the hero, and that's it, right? Like, Caecilius is a good example from Doctor Strange. He's killed, or, you know, he's done, and he was completely just a super boring villain, one-dimensional, just nothing to work with, and then he's killed, and then that's it. But Agatha she lives on in a big way. She's going to play a role in things still. She's going to be a presence. So there is opportunity to flesh her out even more. And for her to evolve as a character. That's the best thing about, I think, even this saga is just, it seems to be, it's the scale of it is something to marvel at. No pun intended. Because, I mean, the amount of projects being released this year, and then it seems to be the norm now going forward, the amount of projects a year, just tells you how big the story is. This saga will be bigger than the Infinity Saga. And so the chance for characters to really grow the possibilities are endless. And we look at Loki in the Infinity Saga and the way he had an arc like that, and the fact that he's still around in another form and in another dimension allows for him to again go through change, maybe even in a different way than he did in the Infinity Saga. Like, he could still turn into a hero, but in a different way than he did in the Infinity Saga. So, like, just that is amazing to play with. And so Agatha could even become a hero, more of a hero than she is, and that involves depth and change for the character, and that will save her one-dimensionality in this, right? Another big question was about White Vision, and the fact that he kind of regains his memories, and then flies off and we don't see him again. I'm curious if it just, it implies that he's most likely going to come back. The Vision we knew could come back, but it adds another layer of depth to Vision, and having to now grapple with these memories that he has no emotional connection to, because he didn't technically, he's disconnected from them because of his death. So he has to, like, almost rekindle those emotions. It's why he didn't even stick around and help Wanda, I guess. But Vision 2, the Vision that we've known this whole season here, this series, I think him and the kids, Billy and Tommy, that was the biggest thing they leave us with, cliffhanger-y kind of way, was, can they come back? I'm going to predict they can. And that might be the final piece to how Vision comes back entirely. Maybe it's more of a merging, which I kind of thought was going to happen in the episode. I'm like, oh, are they going to kind of like, and then Vision's back? Like, I was almost kind of waiting for that to happen, like the hex shrinks and everything goes back to normal and Billy and Tommy are gone. But when it gets to Vision and Wanda, like, Vision actually doesn't go away, and then, like, Wanda's surprised and, like, oh my god, how, but that's not what happened, and that's not the approach to Vision. It's more layering than that. It's more going to be more fleshed out than that over a period of time when more stories, when more movies and shows come out. We all we can do is wonder when White Vision will pop up again, right? But I think the possibility of him coming back is definitely more than it was before. And Billy and Tommy. Now, my big thing here with this is it's based on the post-credit scenes. First of all, the first post-credit scene is obvious. It's just setting up Captain Marvel 2. And possibly Secret Invasion further. Monica meets a Skrull. She's met Skrulls before as a kid. She met a Skrull, and they said they want to talk with her in space, and that's setting up Captain Marvel 2. She's a character in Captain Marvel 2. So that was obvious, but the last post-credit scene sets up more of Wanda's story going forward, Doctor Strange 2. Not that it implies how she ends up meeting up with Stephen Strange or anything, but just the fact that she's studying the Darkhold, right? The Darkhold is that book that we learn. That's what it is, and it's a pretty powerful book. It's similar to the book of Cagliostro, right? That Doctor Strange reads. It's all in the same realm. This stuff now. Wanda has become more connected to the Doctor Strange cornerstone of the MCU than she was before. That's what this series did a lot of too. It put her in that cornerstone, whereas before she was kind of in the more of the Earth-bound cornerstone. Now she's more in the multiverse, Doctor Strange, magic, sorcery cornerstone. And that book, she's studying it, and we hear Billy and Tommy scream right before we cut to black. We hear, which tells me there's a chance it's the multiverse, right? That is the key to bringing her children back and to potentially bringing Vision back. And it's that maybe the Hex was tapping into multi-dimensional energy or something. And when they go away, do they go somewhere else? Like, we see that they fall apart like how Vision does when they're not in the Hex. They're gone. But where do they go? Is that what this implies? Is it that they're stuck in some dimensional plane somewhere and they need her to save them? That is kind of what the post-credit scene sort of implies. And yeah, WandaVision fully embraced her power. She became the Scarlet Witch, new suit and everything. I mean, it was, and the way she used Agatha's own trick against her, just really great. Really, really was. If fans were disappointed, I guess I can see why, but I just don't see how you can be totally disappointed when you know that there's so much more story left. It's not like anything that they get. It's not like it was meant to be a complete end, because it's not. There's the characters go on and the story goes on. So how can you really be totally? It's like, yeah, they left us hanging with stuff, but just understand that they will answer those questions you still have. So just enjoy the ride. It was a thrill. I guess that's it really with the recap here. I gave you my takes on some things. Is there anything? If I left anything out, I'll beat myself up or over it afterwards. And just, I mean, I loved getting to see Billy and Tommy's powers a little more, and definitely Monica's powers a little more in this. That was an awesome little sequence, and I mean, what can we say about it? I know that there's probably something I'm missing, but whatever. Yeah, if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it. And now, if you didn't get around to WandaVision, you can binge the whole 9 episode series. And yeah, the story continues, guys. It's not the story continues. The saga continues in 2 weeks. We're ready to go. Falcon and Winter Soldier is next. I will be doing recaps of it every week. It's 6 episodes, and yeah, let's see what we get. Looking forward to it.